All right, we're about to get started, so if you haven't gotten a seat, please have a seat. So I just wanted to say good morning to everyone. How are we doing today? My name is Jenny Chavez. I'm the Vice President of the Board of Public Works here for the City of Los Angeles. I am thrilled to welcome you all. All of you young women from Gala. I am so honored to present to you today and to welcome you to City Hall. This building is over 100 years old and is the center of city government. This is where the mayor's offices are and the city council offices are. As Vice President of the Board of Public Works, I help oversee the city's infrastructure and public spaces. Our board supervises the operations of 5 crucial bureaus that literally build and maintain the backbone of our city, from streets to sidewalks to public buildings, water treatment facilities, and much more. We work to ensure that Los Angeles remains safe, sustainable, and accessible to all of the residents that live here. First, I want to extend my congratulations to all of you for completing the Spark LA program focused on engineering and STEM careers. Your dedication to expanding your knowledge in these areas is very commendable. And I'm excited to see where your passion for STEM will take you in the future. Today we have some extraordinary speakers, women speakers, ready to share their expertise and experience with all of you. We have staff from the Bureau of Contract Administration. They will introduce you to what they do, including overseeing construction projects and conducting inspections that keep our city safe and compliant with rules and regulations. We also have representatives from the Bureau of Engineering who will discuss the importance of public sector work, what engineers actually do day to day here in the city, and why having a strong public works department is essential for a thriving city. And from LA Sanitation, you'll hear about critical environmental work being done throughout our city, how we manage waste, protect our waterways, and develop sustainable solutions for our community's needs. I encourage all of you to make the most of this opportunity today. If you have questions during any of the presentations, please raise your hand. There will be dedicated time for questions after each of the speakers concludes their presentation. Remember, the professionals you're meeting today were once sitting exactly where you are now. They've navigated their educational and career paths successfully. And they're here to help you imagine what your future in STEM might look like. So let's dive in, and thank you all again for being here today. Let's begin. So I'll call up Bureau of Contract Administration. Angela Martinez for our Chief Construction Inspector. Angela. Fazila Pereira, thank you. And Yolanda Rock.
So I switched over to Bureau of Contract Administration, which does inspection. So that's kind of how I got to BCA.
And hello, ladies. I'm Yolanda Rock. My path is a little different. I have a military background, so after I completed my time in the service, I wanted to continue in a career where service was part of my mission. And as I went to school, got more training, I was introduced to the opportunities of the city of Los Angeles, one being working with the Department of Public Works. Was able to interview for them, and ta-da, here I am today. It's been an absolute joy.
Can you guys hear me? Okay, perfect. So today we want to talk about what we do as construction inspectors with BCA, give you a little bit of an overview. And so a construction inspector basically inspects all public works projects, which include bridges, roadways that we drive on, structures, buildings, any public space like a playground. And how we do that is we make sure that when contractors get awarded a project, and it gets approved by BOE, we get a set of plans, and we make sure that the contractor builds according to those plans. So we go out to the construction sites every day. We make sure that the materials that they're using are approved per specs, per city regulations and standards. And if there are any issues, we collaborate and communicate with the contractors, engineers. We also deal with a lot of complaints from the general public, so we address those. We are basically public witnesses, and we make sure that taxpayers' money are being used to the fullest and transparent on all our projects.
And so, yeah, so as she was saying, so in addition to that, we deal with homeowners, we deal with private developers. Oftentimes, a lot of the work that we do is we are dealing with homeowners in certain permits. If they want to do an expansion of a driveway, improve the sidewalk area in their immediate area. The biggest thing about what it is we do is we hope to repair and preserve the city for at least 50 years. So like Fazila was saying, we have to make sure that the work we're doing is in compliance, the quality is there, and we stay in budget and finish on time. I hope a lot of you all take this information and just kind of decipher through it over your career search and know that working in the public works sector or working for the city of Los Angeles is a viable and very meaningful career opportunity. And that's all I have.
I also wanted to include that there's a lot that we look at underground as well that you don't get to see, which would be like all the utility lines, like water lines, storm drains, gas lines, everything that feeds your homes, any public infrastructure. So we look at the whole process from start to finish. Every day we do daily inspections, daily reports of everything that we witness. That's like a legal document that can be used in case there's any issues. We do kind of have like a little show and tell for you guys how math and science is incorporated in construction inspector. Every day when the contractor does work, we use measuring tools to make sure how much like sidewalk or curb and gutter that they put in, so that at the end of each month, we can know how much to pay them. And I'm sure you guys have seen your dads or, somebody use a level. That's how you make sure a painting on your wall is straight, make sure the floors are straight. We have an engineer's ruler to measure like subgrades and stuff. We also have like a heating gun, which measures the temperature of asphalt for roadways because it has to be a certain temperature. It can't be too cold, it can't be too hot, so we use this. Our uniform is usually, I'm sure you've seen construction sites where it's a vest and a hard hat, so that's this. We also have like a couple of cool like toy figurines. This is a dozer, this is a scraper, and this is just a small scale version, but when you're out in the field, I'm sure you've seen it, the equipment are huge, so safety is a really big part of what we do, and we want to make sure that the public is safe, all the workers are safe. So that's a big aspect of what construction inspectors do as well. Overall, we feel like math and science can be worked on in construction inspector, and we hope you guys consider this as a future career path, and hopefully we get to see you all as a leading inspector leading one of our public works projects. Thank you so much for your time, and we appreciate you being here.
Thank you. All right, so does anyone have any questions for our representatives from contract administration? If not, that's okay. We can head over to our next speakers. That's okay. Thank you. All right, I'd like to bring up our representatives from the Bureau of Engineering. Megan Aldrich, Principal Civil Engineer.
Hi, ladies.
Thank you. Tracy Otenkusi, our Civil Engineering Associate. And Luz Ravelo, from our Civil Engineer.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here. So there we go. We'll start with a bit of introduction. So my name is Megan Aldrich. I graduated from California State University, Northridge, with a bachelor's in civil engineering and a master's in structural engineering. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I got a job at the city, and the rest is history. So I've been there for 17 years. I love my job, and happy to be here to talk to you today. So go to, I think this is next. Yes.
Yeah, hi, good morning, everyone. We did want to tell you a little bit about ourselves because we think it's important that you see, people with the same or maybe a little bit different backgrounds. But for me, as for myself, I was actually born and raised here in the city of Los Angeles. One of the reasons why I enjoy working for the city is because it's my hometown. So you get to have a lot of impact in the city that you live in, and that's just amazingly satisfying and rewarding. As far as school, I went to Cal State LA, also a nearby school, and I studied civil engineering as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Tracy Otinkusi. I'm a junior associate at BOE, the Metro Transit Division. So unlike most people here, I actually moved to City of LA from Virginia, so from the East Coast. So far, the City of LA is very, very interesting place. There's so much culture here. So I went to school at UC Davis. I graduated not too long ago, so this is amazing. I feel like I was in your seats a few years ago. So I studied civil engineering as well as construction management and sustainability in the built environment.
Great. So a little bit about the Bureau of Engineering. So we are the lead agency in planning, design, and construction for public infrastructure and public buildings. And so we're also responsible for managing permitting, and that takes place in the public right-of-way. And we are also managing the city's state-of-the-art mapping system. We currently have about almost 800 employees, and that includes engineers, architects, surveyors, other technical fields, and administrative staff. And we're managing around 500 active projects, which total roughly $5.2 billion. So we do support 5 programs. I'm going to run through this because their projects are a lot more interesting than just the data about the Bureau. But we do have 5 programs that we manage. One is the Public Building Open Spaces Program. The next one is the Clean Water Infrastructure Program. The third one is the Mobility Program. And then the Engineering Services Program, and lastly, the Developmental Services Program. So in the interest of time, I'm going to pass it over to Luz, and she will talk to you a bit more specifically about her project.
All right, so what does an engineer do day to day, right? That's something that you all might have thought about, the regular, typical life of an engineer. And so to tell you specifically about what I do and one of the projects, very exciting projects that I'm working on, the project is called Paseo del Rio at Taylor Yard. And you can see on the slide what the current status of this project is, of this project site. So we take sites around the city and we evaluate them as part of revitalizing LA River and habitat, increasing open park spaces, bringing public access. That means that we're building trails, walking paths, trees, a lot of community opportunities to bring this project essentially open to the public and for people to enjoy. So as part of my daily routine, I work as a project manager for this project. So I get to work with consultants and contractors on what is this design of this park going to look like? Who needs to be involved? What permits do we need to get? What are the challenges? Do we need utilities? A lot of things that you need to think about as a project manager and engineer of how to develop a project site. And so on the next slide, these are some of our renderings that we've developed with our consultants on our thoughts and ideas and what we think that we can do with this project site. I don't have after pictures because this project is still ongoing, but these are some of the development and thoughts that we are thinking about with this project at this time. So Tracy.
So one thing about civil engineering is it's a very diverse career path. Maybe some of you might not know if you want to be civil engineers or not just yet. But for me, I was always curious growing up. I asked a lot of questions. I wanted to know a lot about the way the world works. I watched a lot of documentaries for fun. I just wanted to do a lot of things and I just couldn't make my mind up about it. So for this project I've been working on, which is the Rail to River project, it's not only about engineering specifically, not only just about math, but it's a way to also connect a community together. Historically, a lot of communities have been impacted by our infrastructure. So in a way, like through engineering, we're serving others, we're giving back to others by linking communities together. So as you can see in the before picture, there was an old railway track which was removed, and now a bike path has been constructed. In addition to this bike path, we improved the curb ramps, sidewalks to allow people with different types of mobility issues to be able to traverse our neighborhoods, people who might not have a car, be able to meet up with different friends, meet up with different social groups, and not to limit anyone into one specific box in their neighborhood. So for me, coming into the city, all this was very interesting to me. I don't know if any of you might have suffered with imposter syndrome, but just know that you would not be here if you didn't deserve to be here. If you weren't equipped to be here today. Some of you might feel like you need to have a natural talent for engineering, but just know that whatever you may lack in natural talent, discipline, practice will get you to be able to stand in engineering fields one day. And then next up, we have the high school bridge competition, which BOE organizes with ASC LAYMF. I believe Gala has participated in this event before. So, once you're working as an engineer and you feel like you still want to serve your community and do more and give back to others, this is something you can be involved in. You can be a mentor and help others to raise up others to also become future civil engineers one day. So this event is local, but winners get to participate in the international competition that they get to travel with their mentor and teachers for free as well. Thank you.
Are we doing questions? You all have any questions?
In the interest of time, we're going to move on to our last speaker. Please welcome from the Bureau of Sanitation, Christina Jones, who's our environmental engineer.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Christina Becerra Jones. I am an environmental engineer with LA Sanitation and Environment. I am an environmental engineer today as a profession. However, I went to school for civil engineering. My degree program focused on structural engineering, architectural engineering, and construction management. So I ended up as an environmental engineer, and a lot of times you'll see this happen because our profession and our career and our education sometimes aren't always the same thing. It's all about what you care about. So as you will have noticed from all the speakers today, we all are doing this because we care so much about our city, about the people who live here, and we're all contributing every day with the work we do. So these are some pictures of me growing up. Like Tracy and others, it seems like just yesterday we were sitting here in your shoes. I grew up and I was into dance and I was a Girl Scout, but somebody had me build a bridge one day. And after that, that's kind of what took me from there into the career I'm in today. So I was in a program kind of like you all. I was in middle school when I started. So I ended up going to University of Southern California for both my degree programs, and I did find a good network there of people to support me. So I know we talked a little bit about imposter syndrome, and it's okay to be unsure, but you'll find people that will support you throughout your profession and your education, and those are the people that you really need to stick with because it takes a team, it takes an army. So currently today, I am a project manager for a construction site at our wastewater treatment facility. I think the video plays, I'm not sure how, but maybe it does. Maybe this button? Nope. Okay. So this project is done in construction. We are going to be operating it actually next week. This is a project that's going to be the first of its kind at this facility. And the project is at a wastewater treatment plant that's the biggest on this side of the Mississippi. So we are the ones that treat all your wastewater. So every time you put down something in your sink, in your toilet, and then not in your storm drains because that's a separate system. Anyways, anything that ends up in the sewer ends up with us. And we are going to be treating that water into drinking water one day. So I know that maybe sounds like magic, but it's also a lot of engineering, a lot of chemistry, a lot of biology, a lot of math. So we're going to need a lot of new people, and they're going to be passionate about this career because this is going to be going into a lifetime program. Well, lifetime for me, at least. So we're going to be reconstructing a major part of our infrastructure to be contributing a lot more to the drinking water because I don't know, have you all heard of droughts before? Yes? Okay, I'm seeing nodding, that's good. So LA is always having to deal with droughts, so the wastewater program will help contribute to that. These are also some just fun pictures. I do construction management alongside BOE and Bureau of Contract Administration. So we all work together, all the people you've seen here today, to deliver projects that are going to benefit you as residents and businesses in the city. So yeah, that's that.
Thank you for that. So, I know you got a lot of information today from all of our amazing women leaders in our different city bureaus. Does anyone have any burning questions? We have a couple minutes for questions. We have a question in the front. Brave soul. Perfect.
Okay. My question is my name is Akira Sabel Jackson, and I'm in 8th grade. My question was, in school, did you guys ever feel like you guys would be in this place right now? And how deep did you think you guys could go in your career, and how deep are you now?
That's a great question. Okay. So I didn't always know I was going to be a civil engineer. I know a lot of people think, civil engineers all grew up playing with Legos and everything, but I actually loved playing with doll houses. I love to draw. I love to play the game The Sims, where you get to build houses and everything. And once I got to I want to say 10th grade, that's when I actually found out about civil engineering. And I was like, wow, this is everything I'm interested in. And once I got to college, I realized, there was more math and science to it. That made me a little bit nervous, but I was just so passionate about the topic and how diverse it was, as I mentioned earlier. So if you're not sure exactly about like the one specific thing you like or you might be good at, I think civil engineering is a great engineering subject to pursue, just because it's not just about math and science, but also about social studies, geography, history, and a lot of different fields. Yeah, hope I answered your question.
Does anyone else want to answer that?
Yeah, sorry. I think for me, it was my dad was a civil engineer, so it was kind of instilled in me from a young age. And I also really enjoyed just math and science, so it was the right path. I never thought I would actually see myself as an inspector, like going out to the field, and I really do love that aspect. Like I said, it's just really nice to have an engineering background to be able to like review plans, understand plans, the design aspect of it, but then incorporating that into the field and seeing tangible structures being built. So I love that aspect of it.
I'll add. I think it's also really natural to not know what you want to do when you're growing up and to not know, even when you're in college, you may not necessarily know what you want to do. That was definitely me during college. I knew I was good at math and science, and so I started with math and then eventually thought, I'm not sure I want to be a teacher. I don't know where this is going career-wise. So then I talked to just different coaches and folks that in the engineering college, and then I settled eventually on civil engineering. And even then, I thought, okay, I'm going to be a structural engineer. Came into the Bureau and fell in love with construction. And so it's a completely different field. So allow yourself to have some flexibility when you're going through your experience in high school and in college. You don't have to have all the answers. You'll figure it out.
My family had no engineers in it, no math people, no science people. I'm actually the only girl in my cousin group. So no role models for me. My dad was an artist, and my mom actually used to work at City Hall when I was a kid. So a very different upbringing, but yeah, you find, the only thing I could ever find was that engineering was the only thing that made sense to me. I wasn't always the best at it. It wasn't always the easiest, but it was the thing I cared about the most, so it made the most sense when you're spending until midnight studying or preparing for something. It feels like it's most rewarding for you, for yourself, and that's what makes the effort worth it. And then you just keep going and you keep finding your way a little bit every day. And it's okay to not have everything 100% planned out right now.
Sure. I think a little bit like Megan. I hadn't even heard about the word engineering when I got to college. I had no idea, what you want to do, what you want to study. I was also good at math, and I just was a math major. And then I talked to people in my class and said, what's your major? What's your major? And I just followed someone to the engineering building. And it just happened. So yeah, just be open to anything.
So thank you again to our speakers. I'm going to explain kind of next steps. So this is the conclusion of the actual roundtable. We're going to go into the public meeting part of the day, which is our official Board of Public Works meetings. We have 3 meetings every week. And everyone who sits up here is a member of the Board of Public Works. You'll be staying in your seats. We'll do some business at the beginning of the meeting, and then we'll go into a presentation about Spark LA and all of you. So please stick around. Afterward, after you've received your certificates, you will be escorted out and do a quick photo at the end, and then you'll be going out on a tour. I do invite our speakers, if any of you can, stick around if there's questions, after the presentation, if you have time. So I know, and you're invited on the tour as well if you can participate. So if you're able to, please hang out. We really appreciate it, and thank you all. All right, so stay tuned for We're going to be going, and so our meetings are public. They're actually telecast. Yeah, a round of applause for all our speakers, please. So our meetings of Board of Public Works are public meetings. They are available to stream on YouTube. You can call in on phone, and people call in to give public comments on anything relating to the city. It's kind of an interesting thing. So if you ever are interested in what the city is doing, go online, sign up for the agendas, and see what the city is up to. I encourage you all to do that. So thank you, guys.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Commissioner King. That's good. Just, I can't. I'm okay. Good. Yeah.
You have got to go out to Hyperion, darling.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have our summer soiree.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
That was nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be up on top.
Nice space.
Yeah.
200 acres.
Yeah.
100 years old. The guy had like a encyclopedic
Just
knowledge and memory.
so, yeah, he's so great.
I like the way he wove the story together.
Good morning.
I have two.
Thank you. Good. So only one camera is working? Only one camera is working? I don't know.
But I don't know what you have to do, but it's on. I guess switched it, maybe, I don't know. I don't know what camera is on.
Yeah, it keeps going to me.
Probably help me with yours because I think maybe you don't have it. Yourself or something.
Oh, never mind, we're good. Good morning, President Corsand. We're ready to get started.
Great. Welcome, everyone, to the Board of Public Works meeting for Friday, March 21st. Ms. Mattson, if you'd like to take roll call and establish quorum for us, please.
Yes, good morning, President and board members. I'm Elise Mattson, Executive Officer with the Board of Public Works, taking roll in establishing quorum. President Corsand, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant, Commissioner Kang, and Commissioner Mitchell are all present, and we have a quorum. We're also joined by City Attorney Representative Adina Hopenstan.
All right. Welcome, everyone, and to our class from being recognized today. Just for everyone's awareness, we are going to have the presentation first, followed by a recess for about 10 minutes, and then we'll pick up our regular agenda items, and that should be around at about 10:40. So I'm going to turn it over now to our Vice President, Jenny Chavez, to lead us in the presentation.
Thank you, President Corzan. Good morning, everyone. I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome today the exceptional young women from GALA, the Girls Academic Leadership Academy, the first and only all-girls public STEM school in both LAUSD and the entire state of California. Their presence here today fills our boardroom with fresh energy and boundless potential. Prior to joining us here, these bright students participated in an informative session right here in this boardroom. They heard from our dedicated staff across multiple departments, from LA Sanitation to the Bureau of Contract Administration and our Bureau of Engineering colleagues. They discussed the critical importance of public sector work, what engineering truly entails in the city of LA, and why a robust public works department is essential to our city's functioning. Today marks a special milestone for these young women as we celebrate their completion of the Spark LA program. This program is an after-school program put on by HNTB and provides them with valuable exposure to engineering concepts in various STEM career pathways, fields where women have historically been underrepresented, but where their perspectives and talents are desperately needed. Looking at these students, I see the future leaders who will shape our city's infrastructure, environmental initiatives, and public spaces. Their dedication to pursuing knowledge in STEM fields at such a young age is both inspiring and promising for the future of Los Angeles. I would like to give a special thank you to HNTB, who sponsors the program, and the volunteers who give up their time, and the teachers as well, who all do this after school hours. With that, I'm delighted to turn the call up to the podium Cecilia Vong from HNTB, who will lead us through today's presentation. Afterward, we will be calling the names of the students, and then we will be handing out certificates after the presentation. So thank you all for joining us.
Good morning, Board of Public Works Commissioners, and thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of HNTB's Spark LA program at Girls Academic Leadership Academy, also known as GALA. My name is Cecilia Vong, and I'm a civil engineer with HNTB and one of the Spark LA coordinators along with Lily Acuna. The Spark LA program launched in 2017 as a collaboration with former Mayor Eric Garcetti, the Department of Public Works, and HNTB in order to promote gender equity. And since then, we have partnered with GALA, an all-girls STEM-focused school in the LA Unified School District. HNTB is very excited to be wrapping up our 9th annual Spark LA program at GALA. The students have completed 6 weeks of hands-on activities with experts in engineering on the topics of tunnel design, geotechnical engineering, transit planning, aviation, cost and schedule, and bridge design. There's a lot of people who are responsible for the success of this program, and we would like to thank Vice President Chavez and the Department of Public Works for your partnership over the years. Thank you to the staff here today who helped make this field trip possible and shared about their careers here at the city. Thank you to our friends at LA Metro, Laura Moore and Heather Penny, who helped launch this amazing program in 2017. Thank you to Dr. Liz Hicks, who founded the GALA School, and our GALA teacher sponsor, Ms. Adrienne Warlick, who continues to welcome us back year after year. And lastly, we would like to thank all of our volunteers who enthusiastically share their expertise and knowledge with our students. We are grateful for the opportunity to continue partnering with the City of LA on this free after-school program that introduces more students to STEM careers. And I'm excited to see what the future will hold for these students, because I know that whatever they put their mind to, they will accomplish. Congratulations to all of the students for completing the program this year. And now we will invite 4 of the students to talk about their experience with the Spark program.
Hi, my name's Chloe, and this is my 4th year doing the Spark program. I joined in 6th grade because I had an interest in architecture and engineering, and I really like that the Spark program gives exposure to the different fields in architecture and engineering and more, and that I'll have more knowledge going into college and choosing my major.
Hi there, my name is Khaleesi. This is my 2nd time doing the Spark program. I'm in 7th grade, and the main reason I really wanted to do this was to expand my knowledge on the different types of job opportunities out there, and especially with all of the, learning how to engineer and work on big projects. It sounds really cool, and it, how, I'm really inspired by the how you guys are so smart and creative, how you work on your projects, and I was really inspired by it, so thank you.
Hello, my name is Jayla Miel. I'm in 6th grade, and this is my first time doing Spark. I chose to do Spark because there weren't any more opportunities at my old school in architecture or engineering, so I chose Spark because GALA has so many opportunities.
All right, is that our last student speaker? Okay. Thank you to the speakers. All of you are so articulate and eloquent. We really appreciate hearing from you and what you gained from the program. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to my colleagues if they have any remarks that they would like to make.
Thank you, Vice President Chavez. Good morning, everybody. First and foremost, congratulations. I was just telling our Vice President here that Gala holds a special place because when I was working in the State Assembly as a district director, my first piece of legislation that I worked on was Assembly Bill 23 that basically enshrined single-gender educational curriculum in the state of California. At the time, Gala was very new, recently opened next to the campus of LA High, and I know Principal Hicks is still there, so Principal and I worked to ensure that this legislation passed so that all of you can continue to receive excellent education at Gala. I'm sad that you all moved to near USC, but I'm hoping my daughter, when she grows up, to be able to attend Gala through LAUSD. So thank you for coming and congratulations.
It's an honor for us to recognize your achievements here. It's what you're doing is really creating new possibilities through your academic excellence and your innovation. I mean, Public Works is about trying to solve real problems, and what you're doing, what you're learning, what you're endeavoring, your extra effort is that same path that we go forward. And just remember, the Los Angeles needs your voices, your performance, your perspective, and your leadership. We're proud of your accomplishments and excited to see where that leads you. Congratulations.
I also want to commend your activities, your achievements. I am a lawyer by trade, but I had an opportunity to work with the State of California Department of Transportation, where some of the first women licensed civil engineers in this state worked. So I encourage you to follow the path, follow your dreams wherever it may take you. Don't worry about being the first, make sure you're not the last. Thank you.
I'll echo all of that. Congratulations. It's not easy to do STEM in general. It's challenging, but you're here and you've done it. And as Commissioner Mitchell said, don't be the first. It's okay to be the first, but it's not okay to be the last, right? And I look around our bureaus, and I came in just towards the end of the presentation when you heard from some amazing engineers. The sky has no limit for your potential and your future. And I think I've said this now 3 years in a row. It's amazing to see the growth and opportunity, because I don't remember it was this many students last year, or maybe this is the number and then not everyone showed up. So it's great to see it keeps growing and it keeps going. And I look forward for some of you to join our Bureau of Engineering, Sanitation, Streetlights, Department of Transportation, and even DWP if you join the city. Or even in the private sector in 20 years from now, or maybe less. But congratulations. Thank you, Vice President Chavez, for putting together this program, and looking forward to see what comes next.
Thank you. Did the representative from HNTB, did you want to read out the names, and then we can just then we'll have a brief recess after that, just to highlight the accomplishments.
All right, so congratulations, students. I'm just going to read your names, and then we'll hand out the certificates afterwards. If you'd like to stand up when I call your name, feel free, but I'll go ahead and start. Faith Kim, Chloe Avansky, Tyler Dickerson, Daryl Smith, Josie Ling, Sahaba Smith, Eloise Bravo, Audrey Silber, Idman Mohammed, Eronimus Hernandez, Khaleesi Josephson, Nora Palacios, Samantha Kalish, Unity Provost, Skylar Jackson, Cameron, Akira Jackson, Victoria Ziwan, Stephanie Salazar, Daniela Cabrera, Elizabeth Salazar, Alejandra Cabrera, Esme Traba, Akina Illis, Celeste Castillo, Jayla Miel, Hope Martinez. Congratulations, students. We applaud you and appreciate your efforts. And thank you, board.
Thank you and congratulations. All right, just in closing, wanted again to thank all of the volunteers at HNTB, the teachers. Special shout out to Lily, Cecilia, and Jessica for coming to us with this. We really appreciate the collaboration and hope you learned something new in City Hall today. So would love to hear your takeaways from today's presentation. Thank you all again.
Thank you, Vice President Chavez. And with that, we're going to take a 10-minute recess. We're going to step outside to the forecourt, and then we'll be back.
Good morning, Zoom participants. While we're in recess, I'm going to call to see if you'd like to make general public comment or multiple agenda item comment. So we'll start with you, Jill. Jill, would you like to make general public comment or multiple agenda item comment today?
General.
Thank you. Georgina McPhee, would you like to make general public comment or multiple agenda item comment today?
General public, thank you.
Thank you. Mona M., would you like to make general public comment or multiple agenda item comment?
Good morning, Ms. Matson. General public comment, please.
Thank you. Henry, would you like to make general public comment or multiple agenda item comment today? Caller Henry, you can press *6 to unmute yourself. Would you like to make general public comment or multiple agenda item comment? I'll check once more in a few minutes in case you're having audio issues, but I was trying to ask Enri, E-N-R-I, if you'd like to make general public comment or multiple agenda item comment today.
nice to see you. We have to catch up.
Caller Gigi's phone. Are you wishing to make general public comment or multiple agenda item comment today? Gigi's phone.
Okay, now you sent me the thing. I don't know. It didn't pop up before. I just want to do general public.
Thank you. Nisa, are you wishing to make general public comment or multiple agenda item comment today?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yes, I'm going to make general public comment today.
Thank you.
All right. It is 10:38 and we'll resume our agenda for today. We will move on to the public comment portion of today's meeting. We have quite a few in-person cards. General public comment is an opportunity for the public to address the board on public interest items, and we provided up to 1 minute per session per person for a cumulative total of 10 minutes for the general public comment segment of each regular meeting. Testimony shall be limited in content to matters which are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. The board may not take any action on matters discussed during the public comment period. And we'll start first with Kando. Says Kando on it.
Is that how you filled me in, Kando? Thank you, Mr. President. It was nice to see.
Which items are you speaking on? Or
Excuse me?
is this general public?
General public.
Okay, thank you.
Comment. It was nice to see all these young ladies, and I hope that one of the or two things that you folks try to convey to them is that it's nice to work for the city. But all of you, I don't think any of you worked for the city. I think you all entrepreneurs, people who went out and went after your dreams. So I would hope that in this program, they're teaching these young ladies that there is more than just working for the city. The other thing that is missing so much from this city, I've been here for 36 years, is the integrity. Integrity, I have seen integrity disappear. And those are strong moral principles. And I would hope you're only going to be here for a short time. And I hope in that time you're going to be challenged and people are going to ask you to do things you're not going to want to do, but you'll do it because you want to be in good with whoever's in power. I would ask that you reach inside yourself and do what's best for the city of Los Angeles, because I believe that you're good people, but make sure you don't sell yourself or sell this city out. Thank you.
All right. Next, we'll go with Joe Public.
Thank you very much. Why is the city clerk doing this commission's job? The commission administrative will not give me my braille. I have to go through the city clerk's office to do that. They actually had to buy a machine. So I have braille. I'm visually impaired, not blind. But why is the city clerk's office had to buy a machine to comply under the American Disability Act when you had 2 of your staff members that refuse to provide braille, and their attitude is, well, we have to provide it, but it didn't say when we have to give it. So I filed a claim of damages just for $1. It's a more compliance issue. And what I do in the past, and your deputy city attorney will run my name and can tell you, when I litigate, I also include the friends and family plan. That means if you have a spouse, since it's a property state, I include your spouse in the lawsuit. You should probably ask if they're going to be covered by the city attorney to be represented.
Thank you. That's time.
Thank you very much.
All right. Next up, I believe in First Amendment.
It's Batman, dickhead. And the reason behind that, because LA squanders millions it could use to fix its streets and fucking sidewalks. And I'm going to read into the record the complaint. The claimant submitted to the Department of Transportation was investigated. It has been determined that the location of the alleged incident is not owned and maintained or controlled by the fucking state of California. This location is outside the scope of the state's right-of-way. This claim form should go back to the dickheads of Los Angeles, and you may want to contact the city of Los Angeles. Very, very truly yours, Veronica Boulevard, claims officer. Once again, you dickheads, just like in your presentation, LAUSD has failed your fucking kids. It has failed our kids to read and write. It has failed because you are all a bunch of controlling, menagering fucking dickheads.
Keep your comments to the jurisdiction of the body.
Too, a dirty nigger too. Stop interrupting
That's your time.
bitch.
That's your time. Audit LA.
Thank you, man. You've been served.
Well, is there enough people? Because I know if you stop it at 10, I don't want to get in the way of anyone that's on Zoom.
You can go ahead.
Where do we stand?
You can go ahead.
I can go ahead. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm here for the same thing I'm always here for, fixing the violations at the Church of Scientology and stopping and curbing their abuse and their grip on our city government. Today, I want to ask you to please look into the street, L. Ron Hubbard Way. They are claiming it's a no parking street, yet there's no red curb. They are saying that it's, they have no parking signs. They seem fake, and they're not even ADA compliant. And I need you to look into that, because please, if this is a public street, if it is not a no parking street and this is all a fraud, the city needs parking, and we just do. I also want to thank Ms. Happenstan. I do. I kind of go toe to toe with you guys. Let's see. But I'll get more into later how I.
Right. Okay. I think we can go to the Zoom platform.
Thank you, President Corsand. We have, first up, we have Jill. Jill, you have 1 minute. You can go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to just stick with the street vacation on El Run Way. I am encouraging you and imploring you and telling you to not go along with whoever's trying to handle you and point you in that direction, get paid off to do it for them, because they're only doing that to try to keep people away and not seeing what's going on in that criminal organization. It's not Vatican City. You cannot do that. It would be just like walling it off and to allow them to continue to do their atrocities. That is allowing them to because they're a religion, you allow them to get away with it. If they put in things like torture devices, gas chambers, and other things or even rooms to starve out the people, as I've heard there are rooms in there, and from testimonials, just like there should be testimonials as there have been in the Holocaust, maybe you would take them seriously and not go along with it, because soon enough there will be a testimonial project of the
Thank
survivors
you.
of Scientology. Bye.
Next up, we have Georgina McPhee. You have 1 minute. You can go ahead.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I originally started calling in about the planters, and I'm very glad they're gone, but that doesn't address the fact that they made those violations hundreds of times over for hundreds of days, and they need to be fined for each and every planter. Each and every day they were an ADA violation, but there's also several other ADA violations that really need to be addressed and looked into, and I encourage you to look into those and have those considered. But I'm now concerned more about the street vacation. I find this a very dangerous precedent. It's a direct access road to two major hospitals. It's very important and vital to keep that road open and available to the public. Parking is such a premium in Hollywood. Why isn't that street open to parking? Why are they getting their own private street? I strongly encourage you to put in metered parking on that street. Thank you, and I yield back my time.
Thank you. Next up, we have Mona M. You have 1 minute. You can go ahead.
Good morning, board. It's me again, Mona. Today I want to remove myself a little bit from the street vacation on L. Ron Hubbard Way and talk about the accessibility of the roads in general. I know that's a Department of Transportation, but it also falls under the Board of Public Works. When you're looking at accessible parking in ADA Title II, L. Ron Hubbard Way, Fountain, Catalina, and Sunset have no accessible spots whatsoever. So even though I can go there now because the planters are moved, I still can't park anywhere. So thank you. I yield back my time.
Thank you. Next, we have Nisa. Nisa, you have 1 minute. You can go ahead.
Okay. Now, even though L. Ron Hubbard's clear, they still want a street vacation because the last time DOA was out there, it was blocked and a sign was covered up. That is not Scientology property. That is public property. And that building is not, the outside part is not ADA compliant because there's no ramps there. That's what I see on the outside. I mean, and plus, I would like to ask if to rename that street name to Lisa McPherson Drive, if that's possible. And I would like to ask all the protesters or everybody in
Thank you, Nisa. That's time.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Next, we have Gigi's phone. Gigi, you have 1 minute. You can go ahead.
Hi, so I want to echo what people were saying about the street vacation, that they, even if they aren't applying for it yet, they are trying to get the feels out there and they're trying to get a street vacation for L. Ron Hubbard Way. I also want to echo the metered parking. That's a good idea to bring money to the city. And what other streets have like no parking at all? Like that should be looked into, because I don't think their no parking is legitimate. and it could be used to bring money to the city. I also want to highlight they're doing construction, tearing down that like tower thing that had a crack in it on the blue building, and they're doing work off of Catalina, just north of Fountain. I assume the people are legit. They have permits. Please keep an eye out, inspect them. You know, they do unpermitted work. Keep an eye on that, please. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you. President Corson, we have one additional hand I didn't get to ask if they'd like to make a public comment. Shall I go ahead and find out?
Yes, please.
Haggis, would you like to make general public comment or multiple agenda item comment today?
General public comment, please. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. You have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Thank you. Scientology is a worldwide criminal organization operating a human trafficking and child abuse ring. Forced child labor was used to lay those bricks on L. Ron Hubbard Way. Remove those bricks instead of allowing a street vacation. Rename the street after the kids who have died at the hands of Scientology. Thank you, and I yield back my time.
Thank you. President Corson, that's all the hands that we had today for general public comment, and we also do not have any hands for multiple agenda item comment today.
Thank you. With that, we'll close general public comment, move on to multiple agenda items public comment. We'll start first with Audit LA.
Okay, I think I'm ready. I'm going to start off. I want to finish because I think it's relevant that since I know Ms. Happenstan's going to be telling me I'm off topic a million times today. That's the dance we do, and it's okay. But I do appreciate that she does speak truth and is not afraid to stand up to say, no, we're not changing the rules for you. The rules go for everybody. So thank you, Ms. Happenstan. Number one, the Army Corps of Engineers. I love the Army Corps of Engineers. I think they do great work. I have a little bit of concern because we found out we're bankrupt and we're going to be losing possibly a lot of services and a lot of personnel. And so I don't know if we should be paying a lot of extra money just to expedite reports. I understand wanting to expedite reports because I would love to expedite a report before they put in for their street vacation to get a report on how bad that would be for the neighborhood. You know, I know they have those technical reports. I would love to get expedited one. I would love for the the Army Corps of Engineers to provide that. But I do understand that we don't have the money for that. Number two, you know, as far as legislative meeting management services, I don't 100% understand what all that is, but if it has anything to do with these meetings, I really wish you would they could tweak things a little bit and put the timers on for when you're on Zoom. It gets very difficult to know how much time you have because they can't see it. In other Zoom platforms, they can see it. So I would ask you to do that. As far as the major update on street improvements, I'm hoping that that report will include that they will not be doing the street vacation, that they will not approve it, that they're standing up against it, and that they will go through there and make sure that the street is open if it's open. You guys, I think it's insane that we have a street that they are saying there's no parking. They're enforcing it's no parking, but the city cannot prove. Can you imagine, Commissioner? They cannot prove that it's no parking. There's no proof that they have been able to find. And Council District 13, I even see, they're like, well, we're looking into it. LAPD looking into it. DOT like nobody knows. And there's signs, no parking. And like I did that report. I don't know if any of you read that 71-page report, items 14 through 17. And Ms. Happenstan, I think I sent it to you. If not, I would like you to see it as city attorney that, you know, that they question that it's even a legit sign put. And so if it's not a legit sign and not legit parking, you guys are Public Works, Bureau of Street Services. You really need to have this report, number 3, say that, you know, that they are going to look into this. The public needs the right of way. The public needs parking. And, you know, and it needs to be done. Thank you. And have a great weekend, everybody.
Great. Moving on to Kando. Not here. Moving on to 45147. Not here. Moving on to I believe in First Amendment. Not here. With that, we will close the multiple agenda item public comment for today's meeting and move on to the approval of minutes.
Oh, President Corsand, so sorry. I'd like to reestablish quorum and note that the members were all also here at the beginning of public comment. President Corsand, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant, Commissioner King, and Commissioner Mitchell are all present. We have a quorum. We're also rejoined by our city attorney, Adina Hopenstan.
Thank you, Ms. Mattson. Is there a second to my motion to approve the minutes from? Thank you, Ms. Mattson. There's a first from myself and a second from Vice President Chavez to approve the minutes from March 12th.
Great. We'll take the roll beginning with you, President Corsand.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner King.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes and the minutes are approved.
Thank you. And moving on to consent items. Is there a second to my motion to approve items 1 and 2 on consent?
So move.
Thank you, Ms. Mattson. There is a second. There's a first from myself and a second from President Pro Tem Grant.
Great. We'll take the roll beginning with you, President Corsand.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner King.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes and the motion is adopted.
All right. Moving on to our oral reports. Item number 3. Status update on upcoming street improvement projects from the Bureau of Street Services. We have Jorge Garcia.
Good morning. My name is Jorge Garcia, Superintendent with the Streets Renewal Division of Streets LA. And I'm here to give this week's oral report. And this information is being provided to keep the public informed on upcoming resurfacing projects and to minimize the impact on the community as well as delays. For additional information or concerns, you can contact our coordinating section for the Streets Renewal Division at 213-847-3200. Currently, there are no major streets projects scheduled in the Metro Valley resurfacing regions during the week of 3/23 through 3/29/2025. However, I would like to provide an update on the 24-25 pavement preservation program. During the week of March 23rd through March 29, 2025, the Metro and Valley regions will complete 0 projects, resulting in 0 lane miles. The press releases were distributed and notifications have been issued. Streets LA has coordinated with the council office to assist with the outreach to stakeholders. We have coordinated with Los Angeles Department of Transportation for traffic control assistance. This information is also available on the Streets LA website at streetsla.lacity.org using the Resurfacing Open Projects icon. And that will conclude my report for this week.
Thank you, Commissioners. Any questions or comments on this item? Great. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
You as well. Thank you.
Item number 4, Office of Forest Management update, and we have Rachel Malrich.
Good morning. Thank you, President Corsand and Commissioners. Excited to give you, this is Rachel Malrich, City Forest Officer overseeing the Office of Forest Management. I'm excited to give you an oral report today. My last oral report was in September, and as we have 4 new board members that weren't here for that presentation, I'm going to focus more on an overview of our office and our role. Typically, my oral reports have focused in on some of the work we've been doing to date, as well as providing an update on some specific projects. But today we'll be doing a little bit more of a broader view of the work of our office. It's not advancing.
Are you like just trying to get the page in?
Sorry? It's not advancing. Okay.
We're having some technical difficulties with the presentation, but you'll also have a hard paper copy of that that we're also providing into the permanent record of this meeting.
Great. Okay, I will continue. So I'll just start with a quick definition. The urban forests are all the trees in an urban area, both public and private property. So our office is thinking about street trees, park trees, and trees on private property. Urban forest management, the goal of that is to maximize the benefits and services that our residents receive from trees while minimizing the risk to potential targets. That is, wanting to make sure that trees and branches provide minimal damage to the city in terms of uplifted sidewalks, branches or limbs falling on cars or on other property. So that's the role of urban forest management, is to manage those two components, maximizing those benefits and minimizing the risk. In Los Angeles, the urban forest is largely human-made and managed, and that's true in a number of cities. Again, in a naturally forested area, plants spring up from the ground, you have them grow over time, they fall over and decay in place, and that just isn't the case in a city. We have to manage it throughout the process. When we think about managing the urban forest, we talk about investing in all four of what I refer to as the pillars of urban forest management. We have to be planting, maintaining existing trees, preserving existing trees, and doing good community engagement. And the community engagement includes both listening to the public, what their goals and priorities are with trees in their communities, as well as educating them on the benefits of trees and what urban trees need. It isn't just one activity or discipline. There are a variety of standards and activities, policies, projects, and programs that contribute to this, and those should be updated regularly to be maintained with best practices and current science. In LA, the urban forest is estimated to have about 10 million trees, 9 million of those, and that number is a little outdated, but it is still the best number we have. About 9 million of those are on private property. And so we estimate 10 to 20% of our overall canopy is actually the assets that the city manages, where 80 to 90% is on private property under the control of those private property owners. One other thing to note about trees and urban canopy in the city is it's not equitably distributed. We have canopy cover data from 2020 that shows the citywide canopy cover at 22.8%, but we know that over 60% of the city is below that percentage. So many neighborhoods don't have access to trees and shade in the ways that others do, and that's one of the focus areas for our office. Additionally, in the city, we have a variety of departments that touch trees. So while we have technical staff within Urban Forestry Division, within Bureau of Street Services and Recreation and Parks, as well as the role of our office, there are many departments that make decisions that touch trees. We have how we design the public right-of-way, how we allow people to build on private property. There's a variety of different agencies that can have positive or negative impacts for trees, and a limited number of technical staff in the city that can help advise to make sure we don't have negative urban forest outcomes. This is not a new problem. There's an Urban Forest Task Force report in 1993 that indicated there's no centralized planning for the urban forest as a whole. There's no clearinghouse for information on the latest methods of urban forestry. There's no coordination between departments and agencies on techniques for maintaining the urban forest or planning its growth. In 2018, there was another, and that 1993 report recommended creating a director of community forestry, essentially the position I'm now in, and that did not happen at that time. 2018, there was a needs assessment of the urban forest conducted that we refer to as the First Step report, that also, as one of its 6 top priority areas, indicated the need for this coordination role, hiring an urban forest coordinator to make holistic change to LA's urban forest management approach. And that brings us to the creation of our office in 2019. So in 2019, I was hired in August, and we're here to think about the long-range planning for the urban forest. We're looking at having that clear vision. What do we want from trees in our city, and what's the roadmap of how we're going to get there? How can we update outdated policies and practices? How can we support new policies, programs, and projects being completed by the city to include good urban forest considerations and align with that long-term vision laid out in the long-range plan, and ensure that the city is aware and understands the potential consequences when we're not able to use good urban forest practices. So we're here to be a technical expert in urban forestry, create that unified vision for the city's urban forest goals, identify and address longstanding issues and outdated policies, and then that's the leadership role I see us playing. And then in the advising role, we're here to support city departments to include tree best practices and urban forest considerations in the work that they do. Our office currently has myself and one other staff member. We had an additional staff member that just got a promotion to go to the airport. So we were a team of 3 and now we're a team of 2. But that's, again, the things that we're looking at is how can we lead and advise the city. On the side of leading things, the areas of focus for us have been developing the city's first urban forest management plan, updating tree preservation processes and policies, because that's an area where the city has faced a significant number of challenges and gets a significant number of complaints. And then researching and addressing this longstanding issue of tree canopy equity, knowing that it's going to take time to shift having sufficient canopy in all of our neighborhoods, especially since there's a lot of built infrastructure that currently makes it not possible for us to plant the kinds of trees we'd like in some of our high-need communities. The image on this slide is the cover from the July 2021 National Geographic that covered the topic of urban forest canopy inequity in Los Angeles. And the image I particularly appreciate because it's looking at one street and traveling down that street from a more affluent neighborhood to a less affluent neighborhood and seeing how it goes from green and shady and lush to areas where there's literally no trees. And so those are, again, Urban Forest Management Plan, or UFMP. Tree preservation and tree canopy equity are areas where our office is looking to lead and has been working on since the inception of the office. We also lead through really expanding the reach of our office through leveraging external partnerships, both research partnerships like the longstanding relationship we have with USC's Urban Trees Initiative. We also convene technical experts when we need to get additional information for the city. The recent fire is a perfect example of that, where we convened experts from across the state and discussed with them the best practices and considerations the city should consider as we look at cleanup and recovery from the fire. And we also provide coordination with the state and county. Again, since we have some new members, I'll just flag that one of the things that I really feel most proud of and excited about is our partnership with the county. That we worked jointly on grant applications for our UFMP and what they are calling their community forest management plan. Not all areas of the county consider themselves urban, so they're calling theirs a community forest management plan. We coordinated and did a joint community engagement process together and continue to meet on a weekly basis. The trees don't know whether they're in the city or county and generally need the same best practices. So we're sharing information and planning for future pests and diseases, among other topics. Areas where we're advising, and I won't go into any of the details here, but we are looking at city policies and initiatives. We are advising on various programs, projects, and then we're also scanning and looking for urban forest threats and opportunities and advising the city on how to move forward with addressing those. The goal with our advising is the intent of really ensuring that, again, we are including good tree and urban forest considerations and outcomes in our policies, programs, and projects. Or that the city is aware when we're making a choice to say trees are maybe not the most highest priority in this project or program, but that we're aware of that kind of trade-off that we're looking at. So I'll close with a final thought. The image we have here is one I've used in many slide decks. This is from that needs assessment, the First Steps report, that talks about the fact that trees increase in value over time as they grow, and the species of tree really matters. So you can plant a small stature species or a large stature species. The cost to dig the hole, put the tree in the ground, get it taken care of for the first couple of years with watering is the same, but the ultimate outcome from that tree is different. If it is a species that has the ability to grow to be 70 or 80 feet tall versus 20 to 30 feet tall. I'm gonna flag that because our work is really about long-range planning. If you remove a tree, it is gone. It is not shading that area. There's no cooling benefits being provided the moment that that tree is removed. And replacing it takes a decent amount of time. Even if you replant the tree at that at that moment, you're going to be waiting maybe as much as 20 years before you have the same kind of shade that was there when you removed it. Doesn't mean that we don't remove trees, doesn't mean that we don't plant those small young trees and again, plan for the future, but that thoughtful decision-making process around trees is important because it's not easy to recover immediately. We have to think and be careful. And we also want to be thinking about what does the climate look like in the future? How are we preparing to be protecting people from extreme heat? How are we picking species that are going to be resilient as our climate shifts? All of those things are part of our considerations and part of really the enjoyment of the work that we get to do. We get to dive into these topics really deeply and be a resource to the city in considering how we plan for the future forest. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Commissioners, do we have any questions or comments? Vice President Chavez.
Yeah, so thank you for that presentation. I know obviously we're looking at very challenging times looking forward with the budget. I think that the mayor has called on us to, or all of us, to start looking at fundamental changes on how we deliver city services. And I think what that means sort of from a top level down is a real concentration of priorities, right? Priorities and how are we going to be sequencing city services and who comes first, second, third. And when I see that map of the city and the tree canopy, that really just brings it home of the equity piece and how lacking certain parts of the city are and how, desperate communities are for trees. As you're finalizing the urban forestry management plan, I urge you to kind of rethink how we deliver on these promises that we've made to communities to delivering trees and needed shade and all of the benefits, the air quality benefits that come along with it, to really just focus in on what we can deliver in a realistic standpoint, what partnerships we can enter. I know you mentioned you have partnerships. I think that there's still a lot of partners that we work with in the city, some with Public Works who are interested in helping and joining in on that. And so I'd love to get your comments on any thoughts that you have on that as well.
Yeah, it definitely is a tough week to be giving my oral report for sure. Because one of the biggest challenges we face is that we're currently looking at deferred maintenance before hitting a negative budget cycle. We're at a 17-year trim cycle for our street trees, which have constant targets. There's always something underneath the trees that they could hit. And so being able to inspect those on a 5 to 7 year cycle is still the best thing the city could do, in my opinion, to reduce our liability and risk. And again, the payouts that go with that. But again, we're in really tough budget times. So how do you prioritize and think about where we make investments? So that's one thing that comes to mind, is just that it's, we're in already a challenging moment for urban forest management, and I know it is probably going to get harder because of the budget challenges the city is facing. I am encouraged by the work that's being done on Executive Directive 9 to look at our streamlining processes, and I think, again, some of the work our office has done sitting in on those conversations and hearing the mayor's vision of that executive directive, I think will assist in a lot of ways to help all of us understand how we're moving forward and making different priorities and choices, and hopefully doing that with more of the assets all on the table, having a discussion together. So I think that that's a positive component. We had developed the UFMP. We have draft implementation plans that are a portion of that we worked really hard with departments on, and we're having potentially to revisit those, because those were created with the thought of what do staff see as the next set of actions in the next 5 years we need to do with our assets that we manage relative, the tree assets that we manage. What is the public asking us for? What do we think in the Office of Forest Management are technical shifts that we need to make sooner rather than later? And then what can we do with existing resources? That's the final lens, is like, of all the ideas that are on the table, what do we think is likely to be able to be resourced with current staff in the next 5 years? And again, things are even bleaker than when we finalized some of those drafts that was, towards October, November of last year. We were looking with departments again because we wanted to deeply review those, make sure that they were comfortable with those kind of marching orders potentially for the next 5 years. And I know that that's a concern of mine, is that I think that we may need to further really be transparent with the public. This is what we're able to do relative to trees in the next 5 years. And the city has to decide, where do trees fall within the different infrastructure components. I know that we were talking with some tree experts last week and said, I'm going to care a lot if my sewer starts working. We have a value statement. What is, trees are more important than some things and less important than others. We're going to remain focused on hopefully providing good advice on projects the city has moving forward. If we are designing capital projects, that we're including really good tree infrastructure there when the city is spending money that aligns hopefully with urban forestry targets. But it is a challenging time, especially because as we look at external funding, typically you can get funding for planting trees, but not for maintenance. And we continue, my entire career, I've been talking with some of the state granting agencies saying, come on, we got to find a way to pay for the thing that actually could help us most address the biggest need in our urban forest. And we're involved in some state conversations on a strategic plan for the urban forest statewide that we're hoping will have some additional, maybe new ideas or resources or guidance coming from potentially the state level to support these things. But again, not sure if that entirely answers your question. It is a challenging time, and we are going to have to be careful and thoughtful. I'm going to remain focused on how do we continue to think about how we can protect Angelenos from extreme heat using trees, and how can we at least make sure that good information is on the table when we're choosing whether to design something that removes trees, or if we're adding new trees, that they're high quality assets, that they're not, here's 2 decorative trees in the front of the building. That's not what we're here for. It's not a good use of city resources. So as much as we're able, that's where we're looking to provide kind of that guidance and direction. It's not more trees. It's, again, making really thoughtful choices about where we invest in new ones that move towards those canopy goals.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, any other questions or comments? Seeing none. Rachel, any other remarks?
No, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Ms. Mattson, have we cleared the desk for today?
Yes, President, we have.
Great. It is 11:18 and we are almost adjourned for today. Our board meeting, a regularly scheduled board meeting for Monday, March 24th has been canceled. And with that, we are adjourned for today.